I'm Joel McCall, and we're visiting now with Mitchell Olson. He is the head coach for the Central Riverhawks. And Coach, you and I have tried a few different ways of getting this done, but hopefully this works tonight. Thank you very much, first of all, for taking the time to talk with me. I do really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. It's good to talk to you. Looking forward to this partnership with all the activities that we have going on at Central High School, and I think we're maybe close to getting beyond all the technical difficulties from. You would have thought that we would have learned a little something about Zoom and Google Meet and stuff over that time, but we're still learning, and I think we got it figured out.
Yeah, I hope so. And so I want to talk obviously a lot about the football team. You're coming off a loss 28-26 to Reedsburg. That was just last week, sitting at 1-2, allowed 21 points in the second quarter, but scored 12 in the fourth. Take me through the ball game a little bit, Coach. And that fourth quarter, obviously coming back, were you having a chance there to tie the game?
Yeah, you know, we had a shot at the end of the game. You know, the kids played hard throughout the entire game. We kind of got it going on there in the fourth quarter a little bit, but we're a young group and we're still learning a little bit. So you know, all in all, really happy about the progress that we're making, and you know how coachable the kids are. It's a really enjoyable group to be around, with just how hard they work and how much they want to learn. And at the end of the day, that's all that you can really ask for.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, what did you talk to them about, especially at halftime where you were down and then gave up so many points and able to come back in the second half and kind of regroup?
Yeah. Well, it's easy to get down after those situations, but you know, really, you just need to sort of change your mindset around a little bit and look at the good that you can take away and try to use that as a learning experience. And you know, anytime that we're sort of faced with a situation like that, we're going to learn from it, and we're going to try to somehow grow from what happened. And the kids are still working hard. You know, our coaching staff is doing a great job, and we're trying to get better every week. It's not getting any easier. You know, Onalaska is one of
Right.
the best teams in the area, one of the best teams in the division. We'll have to play really well for us to be in the game, but we're also excited just about that challenge.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Hilltoppers coming up. I do want to ask, because you did mention that you are a young team and trying to make things happen, and the quarterback situation. You know, stats show you have three guys. I think it's Brindley, Elston, as well as Stripmater, who have all kind of competed in that position for quarterback. And I think you used almost all three of them last weekend. So talk a little bit about quarterback and what you're seeing and what have you liked and what haven't you liked.
Yeah. Well, Mason Elston is our starting quarterback. You know, he got a little bit dinged up last week, but we couldn't ask for anything more from him, um, as our quarterback, as the leader of our team. You know, his character is unquestioned. He's a great kid. Everybody on our team respects him. He has done things the entire way through his entire high school career the correct way. Um, couldn't say anything more or hold Mason Elston, the person, in a higher regard. And he's a darn good quarterback too. But you know, he's a little nicked up right now, but we're gonna get him back. It's just a matter of time, and he is still going to, you know, be our quarterback and do a good job. We've got to do a better job with the supporting cast around him. You know, keep him upright and give him a clean pocket to throw from and get open and all that good stuff. But Mason's a heck of a kid. You know, he's been a leader in our school since the time that he was a freshman and he walked through our doors. So I think the world of him. He's a great kid, and we can't wait to have him back.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that's what happened last week then is because you went through the injury with him, and he was your leading rusher as well, and, I know that you have some weapons on the outside, and so offensively, if you can get him back, or if you don't have him back this week, despite that, I mean, you still have some weapons of rushing and getting that attack going too. So I think overall, I'm sure that you're like, well, we might have this question mark, but at the same time, we can still move forward, right?
Yeah, we're excited about it. Peyton Stripmatter is another tremendous multi-sport athlete that's really done a good job. His development at the quarterback position has been great. I think the potential is there for him to sort of take the reins over in the future. He's another kid that just has the respect of all of his teammates um, in our program, the respect of all of his teammates in other sports, and ultimately the respect of all the adults and coaches and other kids in Central High School. So we couldn't be more excited about the future with Peyton Stripmatter too. He's a very versatile athlete. He's been playing a lot of defense for us. Ultimately, he's one of those kids that you just have to find a spot for on the field, because he is that sort of special talent and has that great character that you want to be the core of your program. But there's also the possibility that we need to look at getting a lot of different good athletes in our program touches, and that's sort of the hard part. But the fun part as coaches is just looking at, here are the guys that we need to get the ball to in space and how we go about doing it. So we might be a little bit short-handed, but there's still a lot of kids that we need to get involved in the game.
Well, let's move on to the defensive side because I think I wrote down and I should have talked to you about pronunciations before we started, so I do apologize for that. But I do want to talk about three guys. I think it's Hardy, Nerudin, and as well as Faf, right? I mean, those three guys have kind of led you with tackling, and they did that again last week. And it really looks like they're kind of the ones showing up on defense, making a lot of plays for you.
Yeah, so those are our three linebackers, and Antoine Hardy, Ashton Paff, and Omario Nuruddin. And with how we've kind of been playing schematically a little bit, those are all three very athletic kids. Um, Maybe they wouldn't fit at linebacker and other programs, but we just try to use their speed and their instincts in, let them read fast and fly and get the ball. And they've been playing really well. They've been good tacklers. And we just try to get them in positions where they can sort of run stuff down.
Well, how about other defensive players? And those are the top three that I saw in stats, but obviously stats don't tell everything. And so there's probably some other guys that should be highlighted on that defensive side.
Yeah. Well, Boston Brindley is one of the best defensive backs in the state. He was the only junior on the All-State Coaches Association football team last year. He's already got 4 interceptions going into this year. I haven't checked the stats, but I would assume that puts him at the top, or right up at towards the top in the state. He's just got a nose for the football. He's going to be a very good college football player someday, and we're lucky to have him now. But he has an impact just outside of picking the ball up too. Last week we needed a big stop. We were trying to force a turnover, and he came in on a run play up the middle and stripped one out and ended up recovering himself too. So he's done a heck of a job for us. We've got a lot of young guys at the D line that have been doing a good job. Trevon Thompson, Caden Apon, Cooper Hansen. The list goes on and on with some of those kids, but it's almost been a little bit of baptism by the fire with those guys. But they're learning more and more every week and sort of getting their feet wet, and we've been happy with how those guys are playing too.
Well, and I know that the record might be 1-2, but you overall look at, okay, we lost by 2 last week. We lost to Eau Claire Memorial by 3, won the first game of the season by 10 over at North. So close games all the way around. What's the team kind of learned about themselves in these first 3 weeks because you've had so many close games?
Yeah. Well, and I was just thinking to myself, like some of the players that are very important and have done a great job on our defense, and it sort of sums up who we are a little bit. In Zach George and Carson Jones, they may not be, the biggest kids when they line up on the field, but they don't play like it. Those are two guys, and it sums up our entire defense. They've got a nose for the football. They're always around it, and you couldn't ask for more coachable kids that are just sort of instinctual players that are going to show up and give the same effort that they do on Tuesday and Wednesday as they do on Friday. And I think that's our identity a little bit. We're, in all honesty, we're probably not the most physical team, but we're going to give you a good game, and we're going to make sure that you got to give us our best shot if you're going to beat us, because we're going to show up and we're going to play hard. And at the end of the day, I think that's probably all that you could really ask for from our players and our staff. So I'm proud of our kids. They're playing well. We fell short a couple times, and it's not going to get any easier with Onalaska here on Friday. But we're looking forward towards the opportunity.
Yeah, let's talk about the Hilltoppers. And you just mentioned them because that's on the road Friday. They are 3-0, entering after a 54-0 win over Holman. They had 20 points in each of the first two quarters, pretty balanced offensively. And you did beat them last year, 36-33. I'm going to guess that they probably remember that as well. So, it should be a really good game coming up on Friday.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's kind of turned into a little bit of a rivalry, not in football, but just in every sport. I know that they really look forward to playing us. We're just focused on controlling what we can control. We want to go out and execute and play well, and we're not so much as worried about who we're lining up across from as just who we are, doing what we're supposed to do. But there's no doubt it'll be a good test. They're a really, really good football team, probably the best football team in this area. And, as you can see by the rankings, they're one of the best football teams in the state.
Yeah, you've got them coming up then on Friday night with Onalaska heading over there. And Coach Olson, really appreciate the time tonight, and I'm glad we were able to do this. I wish you guys best of luck. We do have our first live play-by-play broadcast coming up as well. That's tomorrow night for volleyball. It'll be Holman and Central. That's I'll be taking care of the play-by-play there. But wish you guys best of luck heading out on Friday night. Stay healthy and get that win over the Hilltoppers.
Thanks, Joel. Appreciate it. Go Riverhawk volleyball. We'll be rooting for you girls from my living room.
All right, that sounds good. That's Mitch Olson, then the head coach for Central, and I'm Joel McCall. Thank you so much for tuning in.